What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. This time we're going to be taking a look at a series of games here between FXO's QXC and EG's Machine. You can see we're here on Shakur's Plateau for game number 1. QXC, our purple Terran player, spawning over here in the bottom left-hand position, and then directly close air positional, clear across the map over here in the lower right-hand position is EG's Machine as the pink Zerg player. So yes, it's going to be a Terran versus Zerg, QXC versus Machine here on Shakur's Plateau. Now, given this close air distance, it certainly makes drop harass quite possible for QXC. Obviously, air harass will also be much more effective for Machine. If he eventually decides to go for that Speedling Baneling type harass, he will be able to have a quick path straight with his Mutalisk right into QXC's base. But that's looking way, way down the road, and we have no idea the course of this game, so we'll have to wait to see if that even comes into play. Now, something else to keep in mind, too, is that even with that being the case in this kind of close air distance between the two players, I certainly expect Machine to have at least one or two Overlords doing some spotting, so he would be able to spot any drop harass coming. I mean, even something as simple as having an Overlord situated right over here, or maybe even one over here, gives him kind of ample time to respond to that type of stuff. But again, that's later down the road, and that's nothing to really talk about right now. Really excited. It has been a very long time since I've commentated a game with QXC, and, you know, I did a lot of this during the beta and the early stage of the release. There were just a lot of replays of his available up on the sites that I typically pull my replays from. It's so long, and you know, I think he's a phenomenal Terran player, so I'm excited to be commentating his games. And of course, Machine, EG's Machine, you know, practices with Idra, in control, all these phenomenal players. Certainly a strong player himself, so definitely looking to see what kind of showing he ends up coming out with this game, and how strong of a player he's going to be in this particular series. We do have QXC opening up relatively standard with that 10 depot, 12 racks, and 13 refinery. Scouting SCV now moving out. Looks like that drone for Machine getting the scout of QXC's base. Is he going to manage to pull back in before that second depot? Looks like oh my gosh, a little bit of dancing here between that drone and SCV, and both turning to engage. SCV feeling pretty comfortable. Marine pops out. Down goes that supply depot, formulating that full wall off, and now QXC is nice and safe. Unfortunately, Machine wasn't able to get up in there and get that full scout like he may have wanted to. That initial SCV scout first going straight cross-positional in that upper right position. As we can see, though, he's not there, and he will be moving on down to scout out where Machine is. Machine coming down with quite a few drones, actually transferring down 7 workers right now to that expansion. Extractor has popped, so he should be getting that saturated right now. And, of course, Machine is concerned that he may be dealing with some type of bunker harass, and we can see right now QXC pushing forward with that SCV, the Marine on standby back there as well, and even just taunting this is a big problem. Machine has so much downtime when it comes to mining right now as he continues to pull all of his guys off the line. He's got that spine crawler coming through right now, and it looks like QXC in fact won't be going with any bunker harass. He is heading back home and then transitioning here into some reactor and Hellions as soon as that factory is finished. Going to expect that hot swap, and as we saw there, the silhouette, and there it is, that command center getting dropped down. So QXC opening up with Hellion harass and a contain early game map control, and then moving right into an expand, and then from there he's got all sorts of options, so we will have to wait to see what he eventually ends up doing there. Machine now chasing down the SCV of QXC, unfortunately running into a couple Marines. That will force Machine's Zerglings back. As you can see, we don't have much going on. There we go, finally getting that saturated and just about able to start getting out those metabolic boosts, and look at that with some nice micro. Those Marines able to do a lot of damage. One Zergling does make it with 2 HP left, though. Let's take a quick little look here. Pretty small stuff, but overall QXC is slightly behind. 75 resources lost for Machine as opposed to that 150 lost for QXC. And with this remaining Zergling, the 1-kill Zergling, he will be scouting out, and he has spotted these Hellions coming. So right now Machine knows that this is here. Now, with that Queen plus this Spine right here, those Hellions won't be able to do much, but in all honesty, the biggest thing, and you'll see a lot of Terran players do this in TVZ, the biggest thing right now is just to contain. He's just really going to be trying to contain Machine. He just wants to keep Machine inside of his base, stop Zerglings from pushing out to scout, and this allows him to get up that expansion nice and safe. He's going to orbital command that right now, and here's that switch back into the typical standard Marine tank. You can see double Marines pumping out. We got that factory with the tech lab. Going to expect a few more racks as well. Oh, never mind. Actually will be a Marine Hellion timing push. And look at that, medevac even, so we may be seeing a blue flame drop. Very, very interesting transition here from QXC. Kind of the safest transition is going to be into Marine tank and then just kind of try to roll out from there. Now, with the Blue Flame Hellions, he's got a great opportunity to do a lot of damage. It's really going to come down to how effective his eventual drop is. And as you can see right now, that starport getting very close to finish. He'll be working out that medevac right away. We also have a bunker for some early on defense. And these Hellions right now for QXC just continuing to dance around and trying to do what they can. You can see there really hasn't been much more losses. It looks like there was that one extra Zergling loss. That was the one that actually got killed right there in the middle. But besides that, QXC hasn't done much. He's actually slowly softening up this queen, and Machine does need to be careful because he's in a kind of a dangerous spot, very close to losing that queen. And Hellions will be taking this opportunity while that Spinecrawler is rooting in place to try to get as much damage as possible, but eventually, of course, forced to push back. That Spinecrawler just way too much of a threat against those very light Hellions, and those Hellions do not do much damage at all to that spine. As predicted, here are those Overlords scouting the edge, allowing Machine to see when and if any drops come, and it looks like that will be coming very, very, very soon right now. The medevac just about to pop. Still more Hellions coming out, and will he just be loading up these 4 Hellions right away? Is he just pushing out with the Blue Flame, or does he plan to do more? I'd like to see him do something right now with that medevac. It looks like it will be Marines. So the guess right now is that he will be dropping up somewhere over here, putting the Marines and the Hellions onto the high ground, completely bypassing these spines. Another option is to just try to push up against it. It's a little bit risky, though, and very nice, though, by Machine scouting out the edge of his base. He will pretty much see, no matter where this comes from, the fact that it is coming. We can see that Spire Tech is working its way on through, so really going to come down to how effective this is. QXC does need to do a lot of damage right here, dropping some Marines on the low ground to force those Overlords back. Now he will be lifting up those Hellions while those Marines are on the high ground, because he's got to be concerned about Speedlings as well as Banelings mopping up those Marines. So we need some of these Hellions here on the high ground. We absolutely positively do. And I really hope that he picks some of those up very soon. And here we go right now. Speedlings just completely surrounding those Marines. The Hellions on the low ground trying to do some damage, but that's not enough. And Machine doing a decent job of defending here. The Hellions actually target firing down that queen, and they managed to take it out. Unreal. But still, was it enough damage? That's the real question. Let's take a look here. Pretty much no economic damage was done. He just pretty much just sat in this corner and took out, what, maybe an Overlord, a Queen. He did manage to take out a bunch of Zerglings as well, so certainly not without the damage. He certainly did do a bit of damage there, but economic damage is really the goal, and he wasn't, unfortunately, able to get much of that done at all. And you can see right now the Speedlings and Banelings trying to push against those Marines, but as they pull back to the corner and get close to the safety of those Hellions, we do see actually one drone trying to come down for an expansion. Is this going to be denied? Looks like it will. Those Hellions managed to take that out, and we still got those Marines right there on the edge, but there we go, finally mopped up by those Speedlings. So overall, QXC did come out on top there. He did more damage than he took losses. And what has he got going on back home? It looks like he has been keeping up that Marine production, keeping out those Hellions as well, finally transitioning into tanks right now. Doesn't have that siege tech coming out. Now, what's the concern right now? Let's take a look at Machine, sitting with 7 Mutalisks, and he's got some more planned. There's some on the map right now, forcing those Hellions back. Luckily, those Hellions should be able to pull back as long as QXC is paying enough attention. And there we go, pulling all the way back with those Hellions. He needs to head back home, get to the safety of those Marines. I'm assuming we will be seeing a follow-up timing push here for QXC. Does he have timing push research coming out? It appears that is the case, because Stimpack is finished. Combat Shield just about finished as well, so very shortly we should be seeing QXC push out again. Now, certainly these Mutalisks are on the board, and if we see QXC push out, the concern is, well, won't QXC's base be vulnerable? Yes, it is, but the idea is that this push is so strong and so daunting to Machine that he will be forced to pull back with those Mutalisks just to try to defend. We can see right now he's moving in the main base, and he actually should be able to do a lot of damage. If he takes out that Tech Lab, that'll be huge. It will severely cut back on the, oh my gosh, very close. It's burning, and he pushes forward, sacrificing some mutas to take it out. I don't know, was that worth it? He lost a lot of mutas there, putting himself further and further behind. But you know what? Stopping that siege tech was huge, because now that tech lab has to get rebuilt and that siege tech has to start all over again. That was definitely something that set QXC behind quite a bit. Take a look at upgrades right now. Level 1 melee already up. Carapace level 1 coming out as well for Machine. He's got a fair amount of Speedlings and Banelings in the middle of the map. A couple of mutas as well. At the same time, QXC preparing that time push right now. 3 medevacs, bunch of Marines, some Hellions, and there's that tank play as well. Now, without that siege tech, he really will be relying on the Hellion splash damage to deal with those Speedlings and Banelings. So it's really going to come down to a matter of micro. And actually right now, just getting a bit of map control with those Hellions. You can see right now just taking out those Zerglings at the towers and making sure he's got some good vision. You can see those mutas moving across the map right now. And they're actually going to attempt to move right in there. Look at these Marines pulling down just in time to prevent those mutas from moving up. Very, very nice there by QXC. Excellent defense by pulling down because of the scouting vision that he had from having the Zelnaga Tower. We can see right now Machine is up at this third expansion. He does just have layer tech right now. We've got the Baneling Nest with centrifugal hooks in, and that Spire will be researching the Flyer Attack level 1 upgrade. So both players macroing up, getting their upgrades. The fact that QXC has got a third saturated right now is going to force the fourth right here. And as you can see, there it is, Machine moving up to his fourth. Now here comes the push right now for QXC. Making his way across the middle of the map, getting a scan, taking out a few creep tumors. That, of course, denies some vision there for Machine. Machine otherwise would have been able to see a bit further right now. Muta's trying to move forward, but they need to be careful because there are a lot of Marines. Tempting fate right there, but feeling pretty bold. He was paying 100% attention to those Mutas, so even if there were stemmed up Marines, he just would have pulled back and should have been safe. May have maybe lost one Muta at most, but kind of rallying up his forces right now, trying to get as much as he can to deal with this right now. We got Banelings pushed forward, trying to force those Marines back, but the Hellions able to quickly dispatch of those. Hellions also pushing forward, taking out some tumors, trying to take care of these Banelings. Some nice micro here from QXC. Speedlings moving up from multiple directions, though, getting a full surround. And now the Mutas will move up. Stim Marines doing a lot of damage. Ooh, taking heavy losses right there. And these Mutas actually going to be easy pickings, though, for those small Marines. There we go. That's what we needed. Speedlings with the Mutas. You got to move up in conjunction, in tandem, in pair, whatever you want to say. Move up as a group is how you want to do it. And there you go. As you can see, Machine able to quickly dispatch of that. He's got his fourth up. We'll be working to saturate that sometime very shortly. Loving the in-base hatch here as well to get that extra larva production. QXC really does realize that he needs to do some more damage, so he's getting ready to continue to push out. We got a few more racks coming out. Lots more Speedlings and Mutas, a couple of Banelings as well. Continuous upgrades here. Level 2 weapons as well as level 1 just about finished right now for QXC. And the level 1 air upgrades will be finished for that Muta in just one moment. Couple Scouting Marines get quickly overwhelmed, forcing QXC back right now. He's got a little forward Marauder here. Not sure how much he's going to do. Marauder's not the best against anything at the moment that Machine has. And there are the Scouting Zerglings just spotting out where QXC's forces are. We've got an attempted drop over here, but that gets mopped up quite easily. I'm assuming that got scouted by the Overlord. Oh, that's an Overseer now, actually, by the Overseer. It is positioned right over there, and it looks like we are seeing QXC now again with control of the center of the map. Machine will be scouting out if we do see QXC attempt a fourth over here. That will be spotted by Machine. I love that sacrificial unit just to see what's going on in terms of expansion. Hey, it costs 25 minerals, no big deal, and you scout out an attempted expansion. That's absolutely huge intel. Very, very important. And right now we're going to see the Mutas attempt to move up. Stim Marines plus turrets will be forcing him back right now. Couple turrets in the main. Mutas staying just barely out of range, but actually a little bit of miss micro, putting them a little too close to that turret. Sniping out these tech labs. Huge, huge, huge for Machine. Very big because it forces the recreation of those before any more tanks can come out, and actually walking right up into that turret and taking that out as well. These Mutas doing a lot of damage right now, but those turrets do so much damage. The DPS is so high, and he's actually throwing away a lot of these Mutas right now. At the same time, we get a drop right now going up into that upper right expansion. Now Machine is able to mop that up quickly with those Speedlings. Muta still going to town over here. A couple of Marines forced down to try to deal with this. Muta is actually using the almost full wall off the QXC, preventing his Marines from getting up too close to those Mutas, and the Mutas just continuing to dance around and trying to do some damage. I do want to see some continuous dropping here from QXC. You can see Machine just prepared to try to deal with that with some Zerglings over there. A couple of Zerglings taking splash damage from the tanks there in the middle. And we're seeing an attempted middle contain over there by QXC. He's just trying to get a lot of map control. You can see setting up bunkers, setting up turrets, just trying to defend his position and allow himself to safely expand. And there it is. That sacrificial Zergling for Machine is scouting out QXC's attempted third. So this may be the time for those Mutas to actually move up and around and then try to hit this expansion while it's nice and vulnerable before we see anything go down. And very nice burrowed Zergling for Machine, preventing QXC from landing that, so that's going to force him to bring down some units and drop a scan just to see that Zergling to be able to take it out. Lots more Mutas up right now. We also got Hive Tech coming out. Lots of Marines plus some turrets. We'll be shredding through those Mutas, but Machine doesn't care. He is throwing them away to try to take out these turrets and try to continue to push. And that was actually some pretty heavy losses. You can see right now, Machine is still behind. He's trying to work through these thin numbers, but losing those Mutas is pretty devastating. He's going straight for those tech labs right now again, cutting back actually on now 4 production. So actually straying away from those tanks right now, working their way up to Thors just to help defend his base and deal with this constant Muta aggression that Machine's been laying down here. And Machine just been absolutely relentless. I do want to see some continued drops for QXC if at all possible. He needs to try to get himself back in the game here and still sniping down those tech labs. And QXC again will be in a tough spot. And there we go, finally Stim Marines moving up and shredding through these Mutas. Machine not paying enough attention. takes really heavy losses there to those mutas. He was just not paying enough attention to those. And I keep checking back here because I do want to see if QXC is moving out with a counter drop, but it doesn't look like that's happening right now. He's just too busy defending. And here he goes right now. Speedlings trying to overwhelm that center map control here for QXC. We got Banelings coming out the back as well. A few mutas moving up to engage, and there are so many Speedlings and Banelings, and it looks like Machine does have enough to overwhelm these forces in the center, and unbelievable there by Machine. Very nice play. Banelings popping on that bunker. We got a lot of Marines pushing down, and that's going to force those Speedlings and Banelings back right now. Excellent push there by Machine, breaking that center contain. We've got a lot more Marines left though, plus those mutas to deal with plus those Thors to deal with those mutas. And here we go right now. Speedlings and trying to push up, actually surrounding those Thors right now, trying to chase down those Marines. Some nice micro though from QXC, splitting up and preventing as much of that splash damage as possible. Down to just these 2 Thors. Those are getting quickly mopped up. The Zerglings, however, taken out by the heavy DPS there of those Marines. We do have a couple Infestors moving forward. Should be getting a Fungal Growth, and there it is. Fungal Growth down on those Marines. And look at that, lifting up those Thors. Unbelievable. Lifting up those Thors right before that Fungal drops, preventing them from taking that damage. That's going to allow QXC to save them and actually hopefully get some repair action down on those Thors. Pretty intense engagement right there, guys, I'd have to say. We'd have a greater Spire coming out for Machine right now. As you can see, of course, Hive Tech is up. Infestation Pit has those pathogen glands. We're seeing a small Speedling force right now move up here. Now, we do have that Planetary coming out, but is it going to be up in time? The Speedlings moving up to try to do some damage. Should be stopping that SCV from producing that anymore. And are they going to move straight up into the resource line? Yes, they are going to be put right up there, going straight for those SCVs, pulling them off the line. But there we go, the Planetary is up. QXC is going to try to do what he can for damage, getting a full surround, and actually now moving back into that SCV line, deciding, nope, time to go straight towards that Planetary. But it looks like he won't be able to really do that much damage. And here we go, Marine drop up in the main. Let's see if he can do much damage at all. Trying to wedge himself in the corner. There's lots of Speedlings and Banelings, and that'll be enough to take care of that small Marine force. I'm not sure that he took out any tech. It really doesn't look like he did, because we saw Machine cleverly place all of his tech there on the right side to help deal with any drops that may come. We have a push moving across the middle right now for QXC. Medevac sitting over here, but there's nothing in it. And it looks like we're actually seeing 2 Medevacs full of Marines that will be dropping up here into that 4th expansion. We also see a 5th coming out over here for Machine as well. Lots of Speedlings and Banelings, a couple of Brewlords in the middle, a few Infestors as well, more than a few, sitting at 6 right now. And they've got some pretty decent amounts of energy, certainly enough to lay some massive Fungal Growths down. We do have that Planetary nice and defended over here, dropping a couple turrets to try to deal with any possible mutas as well. A couple Scouting Speedlings moving forward just to test the line. We've got those Marines. One will be dropping down there, and the other group dropping up on the high ground. So trying to split up Machine's forces as he hits from multiple angles. Let's see if he manages to lift up in time. There we go. Pulling back, trying to wedge himself in the corner and do as much damage as possible at the exact same time. Just sniping the hatch immediately. Transfuse, trying to prolong the life there, but no. Those Stim Marines doing so much damage. Very nice there by QXC, managing to take out that expansion. Those Marines do eventually get mopped up. We do have those Brewlords finally in play right now. This expansion is still up, though it's not saturated. It looks like Machine will probably be dropping another Expo down there to try to make up, or is he just going to transfer workers? Tough to call right now. There we go, Stim Marines doing what they can. A couple of Vikings trying to deal with those Brewlords. Broodlings forcing splash damage from those tanks against his own units, and that is really rough in all honesty. Vikings will be trying to snipe things down. This expansion does get dropped by those Marines. Couple Marines moving up over here. Speedlings trying to get around. We've got those Infestors pushing forward as well. And Machine trying to overwhelm these forces in the center. He's doing a decent job. Those Broodlords are still up. He's down just to 1. There's enough Speedlings, though, to mop up everything here in the middle. We got a couple reinforcements, though, from QXC trying to do what he can. Still some more Infestors are alive. We've got 1 tank down here. Couple more Marines still alive in the middle. We also have a Ghost in the middle as well. There's a drop going down over here. That managed to take out that spawning pool. We'll be trying for that Baneling nest as well. Do we have a recreation of the spawning pool? It doesn't look like we do. I'm not sure right now if Machine knows that he lost that spawning pool, but he certainly did. We've got another expansion for QXC will be dropped up here, so trying to keep up that expanding while keeping up this constant harass. Baneling nest almost getting dropped. Still 2 Marines, and he's like afraid to even push with those Speedlings. I'm not quite sure why. Attempting to rebuild this expansion. The fact that Machine lost both of these is devastating. And we've got some more pushing going on right now for QXC. Some burrowed Infestors. Are they going to be able to do anything, though? That's really the question. Not sure how much damage they are going to be able to do. We've got another drop going over here for QXC, and the Bathing Nest gets taken out as well. Machine responding way too late. It almost seems like he's just falling apart in the late game. I'm surprised it took him that long to respond. This Marine drops gets quickly mopped up. Now, what are these guys going to be able to do? Infestor's taking Planetary Fortress damage. Hopefully these unburrow and lay some Fungal Growths. And oh my gosh, what is that? That is devastating. Couple of Infested Terrans up on the high ground, and it looks like that's all he's going to be doing. And a drop up here takes out this expansion as well. QXC just all over the place. He's denying Machine's expansions, and this is not looking good for Machine. He did manage to force a few SCVs off the line over here, but this constant harass from QXC has really prevented Machine from keeping up those expansions and getting what he needs. His income's got to be suffering as a result. Look at that. Machine far below QXC, losing that Queen as well. Finally able to take care of the Marines over here, but we still got that strong force in the middle. The Brewlord's trying to push forward. Those Marines doing a little bit of damage over here. We got a drop over here for QXC, trying to do what he can for damage as well. Infestors did get taken care of finally, and the Brewlord's trying to push across the middle. We have those Infestors trying to get some Fungal Growths. Vikings will be pushing forward though, and those should be used to snipe down those Brewlords. The drop over here, still not fully engaged. We got some idle guys back over here, but again, it's all over the place. Pretty much action going on everywhere, and here we go. Fungal Growths will be enough to take out those Marines, plus those Infested Terrans. So there you go, he's all set, but in all honesty, Machine right now so far behind. And there it is, guys, just calling the GG. Alright guys, that was game number 1 here between QXC and Machine. We will be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and keep owning.